Today, in this continuing mini seminar on simping and how to avoid simpery and how to arrest one's simpish inclinations, I want to be confessional, and I want to talk about a time in my life when I was simping to the max. I'm not going to reveal anything that will give the circumstances away regarding exactly when or where this took place. But I will only say it was a place of work, and it was a place of work in which I had a coworker that I was with whom I was interested romantically, but the interest was not reciprocated. So I, for a lengthy time period, and again, I'm putting this all out there, laying myself bare before you, because I'm not one of these guys who comes on and says, I'm bigger and better than all of this, all these things other people fall for. No. If we're going to be honest, we have to be honest about ourselves, and that's what I'm trying to do right now. Because if I'm going to be teaching anybody anything on this subject, if you're going to be I shouldn't say teaching anybody, because it's not like I have some vast wealth of knowledge that I'm imparting to anyone, but I think I do have something to say about this issue that maybe, hopefully, some people can get something out of. So, where was I? This was, again, some time ago. I had a co-worker in whom I was romantically interested, but who was not interested in me. But I would just about every day do something like stop by and visit her work area, and just chat, bring up something to talk about, something to ask her about, have a little conversation. This is very unlike me. Okay, anybody who knows me knows that I'm not a particularly I'm not I wouldn't call myself unsociable, but I'm not somebody who just stops by to shoot the breeze. I think it was very, and there was nobody else at this place of work that I would do this with. So, it was an effort at flirting, even if it wasn't particularly, I wasn't coming over saying anything suggestive or attempting to run game in any way. It was still, something that was out of character for me, and it was it was plain to see, I think, to anyone who was paying attention, that I was making my interest known in this coworker by behaving this way towards her. And let's see, what other things would I do? I would give compliments. I would talk about her hair. If she got a new hairdo, I would tell her hair looks nice. And I don't know. I just generally speaking would just keep being nice and thinking that if I just go on being nice and friendly and putting myself out there in front of her, letting my interest be known, giving compliments, again, this is all pretty painful to relate right now. It's pretty shameful. Shameful, even though there was nothing. It could have been worse. I'll say that. I mean, I could have humiliated myself worse. Thank God I didn't. But anyway, I just had in mind some long-term plan where she would eventually, where she would be aware of my interest in her, and she would eventually become interested in me. But it should have been clear to me at the time that was absolutely not happening. It was. I mean, again, in my experience, if a woman is interested in you, she'll let you know, and it's almost like you have permission to engage me in this manner. You have permission to ask me out. You have permission to behave towards me as if I were someone with whom a romance were possible. And that's why I think the lesson to glean from all of this is that this whole idea of chasing, that you should chase a woman, which I don't, maybe at some point that was, I don't know what I guess probably the pickup artist would say you're supposed to neg or something. You're supposed to say, "Hey, I'm not interested in you. I've got bigger and better things going on," and then get her to like you, or get her to want you from that sort of strategy, which is pretty funny too in itself. It's like reverse psychology. It's the same. You're still angling for the same thing, and you're still transparently trying to get somebody else to be interested in you, which just doesn't happen. The interest is there or it isn't there, and in this case, it just wasn't there. No big deal. There's no one has any obligation to be interested in anybody else. So I'm not bitter about this. I'm not holding this woman responsible in any way for not being interested in me. But I am holding myself responsible for just day after day, week after week, month after month, basically playing the fool, and again, it could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been like Ducky in Pretty in Pink. It could have been like any number of romantic comedies where the guy who the girl sees as just a friend, but he wants something more, where he has this, in Eliot's words, he has the strength to force the moment to its crisis, and declares his love for her. And this was not, I wouldn't have called this love in any case. It was interest. It was to some degree lust. It was some degree I don't know, just I don't know what term to use for it, but anyway, I was aware all the time that I was being led by the nose to do the things that I was doing. But in this particular case, it was not anything. I wasn't being strung along. I wasn't, I wasn't being manipulated by. I wasn't being manipulated by her, nor was I being manipulated by any third party. And both of those are very often the case, when a man finds himself simping. He's often put or manipulated into that kind of situation by a woman who knows that that he's interested in her and thinks, I like the attention, number one, and number two, I can get him to do things for me, and that feeds my ego, or as with advertising, with marketing, with PR, with propaganda, generally speaking, this whole do it for her kind of mentality, or this whole dangling of this prize before you. That's the subject for, I guess, a different conversation. This whole, we're going to put these provocative pictures out there. I'm not. I have to let me level with you all about this. I've never understood the appeal of hardcore pornography. It's never occurred to me. It's never appealed to me. I don't like graphicness. It has just never piqued my interest. It's always seemed just beyond the pale and kind of clinical and gross. But it seems that I'm in the minority on that front. It seems that for a lot of men that's something that really does draw them, and the whole pornography issue is one thing, but there's also just the getting stuck on looking at pictures of women in provocative poses, maybe in fetishistic uniforms, if you're into that sort of thing. Let's say if you're into the flight attendant uniform, then there's a plethora of images of flight attendants posing in various ways, and you get sucked into that. And there's nothing simpy about being sucked into looking at these pictures, but it does feed into the whole mentality. It's like paying attention. It's like looking for a distraction from your problems, and there's something about looking at these kinds of pictures and without being too graphic about it, what sometimes a man does when he looks at pictures like this. These kinds of activities, I guess you call it the coomer, right? There's the or being a coomer these days. It does seem to me to wire your brain in a particular manner. It does seem to me that the more you give in to these kinds of instincts, which again are they're in you, they're a part of you. It's not like you can just deny that they're there, but somehow you think, well, I'll just get it out of my system, and then and then I can move on with my life. But like any addiction, it doesn't work that way. It's not like if you wanted, let's say, if you decided, I'm just going to do one shot of heroin just to see, I've just got this curiosity about it. I want to see what it's like. And then you shoot up, and it's an amazing experience, and you feel the greatest you've ever felt, and you feel euphoric and wonderful and on top of the world for a little while, and then you come crashing back down to earth again. Well, now you want that feeling again. You want to get back to it again. The same thing applies. The same thing applies to sexual addictions or masturbation. The whole idea or notion that you have to that you have to get it out of your system in order for it to not be a factor anymore. Well, it's not true, because the sensation is what brings you out of yourself. It's not just that it feels good. Of course it's pleasurable, but it gives you a feeling of release, and that, I think, is the addictive power of it. So, getting back to my confessional, in many cases, women are to blame. In many cases, for lack of a better word, society is to blame for getting men habituated to these kinds of addictions by agreeing to exploit themselves in this particular way. That helps give them attention. That helps get them, give them an advantage in life, because men are enslaved to their baser drives. So when you just go that route and take advantage of men and their baser drives, then those men are at your mercy, right? And you can make a killing. I mean, look at Belle Delphine, right? To take the most notorious example. But most of the examples that I'm talking about aren't as egregious as that. But they still are. It's all, on a continuum. It's on a spectrum. But going back to my confessional story, there was nothing. This particular woman was doing nothing to egg me on, or to she was blameless in this affair. She wasn't taking advantage of me. She wasn't trying to get me to do things for her. She could have. If she had, at any point along the way, requested something of me, I would probably have done it. Nothing too outrageous, but I would think, I would have thought, if it had happened, I would have thought, this is her. She's getting to like me, and she's getting, and I need to, now I can show that she can trust me. And so, it really is it is a whole nother aspect of the white knighting kind of mentality. And white knighting and simping are roughly the same, I would say. There's maybe a degree of difference between the two, but they are basically the same kind of mentality. So this all came and went. That particular job ended. I eventually started working somewhere else. Didn't see her anymore, and things just kind of fizzled out. But but looking back, it's amazing how during that time I, you know, was convincing myself that that there might be something there, that there could be something there, that because I was, being so attentive to her, because I was, lavishing such attention upon her, mostly, again, innocuous stuff, not pervy kind of attention, not really cringy kind of stuff, although there's something, as I look back and cringe about this whole affair right now, the very fact that I would stop by her workspace and chat, which is not, again, it's just not something I do. I don't do that. People see me as being, as always, just keeping to myself all the time. If anything, I'm the opposite of that. But I was making an exception in her case, and in only her case. So it's just it's a little bit incredible to me to think how long I was carrying on doing this. But again, at the time, you long for you long for and you dream about, not literally dream about, but you fantasize about something that will take you away from your problems, something that will take you out of your head, and something that will rocket you somehow into a whole more exalted level of consciousness, let's just say. And there's, like I said last time, there's a threefold appeal. There's the appeal of companionship, first of all. I'll start with the baser thing. There's the appeal of sex. And yes, of course, that is an attraction. But it's not the entirety of what it's all about. The way people talk sometimes, including a lot of men, is very reductive in that sense, in saying, oh, well, it's just all about getting laid. No, it's not all about that. It's partly about sex, but it's also partly about the idea of companionship. And also, and in a way, this third thing is another kind of base. In a way it's less base than just the desire for sex. In a way it's even more base, and that is the desire for status, right? The desire to be to get social value points, to have your like their what's that social credit system that they're trying to they have in China. They're trying to, in insidious ways, they're trying to phase it in here in the West, just like they're trying to phase in all kinds of insidious things here, and they already have phased in a lot of insidious things. But a man longs for status, to be popular, to be looked upon as someone who is successful, and so for, in some ways, that's the thing about it that's the most embarrassing. That's for me. And again, I'm talking about all of this because I want to make it clear that in addressing these issues, such as I was doing in Ruminations of a Low Status Male, and in Final Solutions of the Incel Problem, and in Confessions of a Would-Be Wanker, all of my social commentary and also autobiographical work that I've done, that I've put to writing, it was largely derived from me and largely inspired by my disgust with myself and my feeling appalled by my own experiences, by my own behavior, even though my behavior wasn't what you would think of as appalling in the sense of I wasn't Harvey Weinstein-esque. Never did anything like that. Never would have done anything like that. Never felt inclined to do anything like that. But there still is something sleazy about it, and not just sleazy, not like in a feminist like respect women kind of way, but sleazy in the sense that it was degrading and demeaning to myself as a man. And so that's what I think I'll end this portion of my seminar right now, and let me know if y'all have any questions. Thanks for watching. My name is Andy Nowicki. You can check out my work at altrightnovelist.com.